4, 3, 2, 1.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point you realize you married into crazy. And that's what our show is all about. If your marriage or relationship is compassionate, real, accountable, zealous and yielding, or just plain crazy, Snooks and Lovey offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as they unpack this thing called marriage. Sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
Welcome back to the Married Into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. I'm Lovey. And as you can tell, Snooks isn't here, so it's my day to go solo, right? This is going to be the King's Corner. Last time you heard the Queen's Corner from Snooks, but this is a special segment of the Married Into Crazy podcast that focuses on the King's perspective. Now, before I begin, please remember to subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast within your circles. Don't forget to go to marriedintocrazy.com and see all the different ways that we pour into marriages. And of course, check out the Married Into Crazy app if you're looking to create peace in your marriage. And you can find the app either at the Apple App Store or Google Play. But today I want to talk about a mindset that's helped me navigate marriage, parenting, business, and just life in general. It's something I call the rule of thirds. So over the next several minutes, you're going to hear one perspective, mine, on why the rule of thirds has become a guiding principle in both my marriage and my mental wellness. So you're asking yourself, okay, what exactly is this rule of thirds? Well, it's simple. Whether you're chasing your career goal or building a business, growing a relationship with your spouse, you're supposed to feel good only about a third of the time, just okay or status quo, even meh, for a third of the time, and not so great the other third. And if your emotional mix falls into this ratio of thirds, you're doing just fine. Here's the key. Expecting happiness all the time sets you up for disappointment. And when we accept that those meh days and tough moments are part of the journey, we build a resilience and better appreciate the good times. Now you're asking yourself, how do I apply this to my marriage? Well, let's think about it for a moment. Imagine walking into your home expecting every single day to feel blissful and perfect and, everything we see on TV. You're going to get discouraged pretty fast. But if you expect and accept that about a third of your days will feel great, a third will be just normal, and a third might be challenging, you'll recognize that you're not broken as a couple or as a husband or even a spouse. You're just normal. Sometimes things are clicking, we're connecting, communicating, the sex is great, and life is good. Other days, it's steady, but not spectacular. We're just handling business, getting the kids fed, paying the bills, clocking in at work. And yes, some days we find ourselves annoyed, frustrated, even caught up in the arguments, and feeling like our relationship's going absolutely nowhere. But what we need to do is really embrace all of that. One piece that's overlooked is that middle third, the status quo days, those meh days. These are not your high flying days. These aren't the days that even seem, great. They're uneventful, maybe even boring. I used to resent those days, thinking I wasn't growing or my marriage was stagnating or not progressing. But I've learned that those days, those middle days, the meh days are necessary and they're part of the process. They're not wasted. They build a foundation. They give us a rest from, all the other highs and lows that we're experiencing. Appreciating those middle days, those middle thirds helps keep us grateful, even if nothing remarkable is happening. Now, what about those not so great days? Let's talk about those rough times, the final third. Why do we need them? Because those days remind us of what's worth fighting for. They challenge us to communicate, talk to each other, to show up for our partners and for ourselves sometimes and the kids, and to reflect that we can always do better. When conflict or disappointment shows up, it's not a sign to quit. It's an opportunity for us to grow and connect on a deeper level. If every day was smooth sailing, we wouldn't develop the tools or the grit that we need to sustain a long-term relationship, a healthy relationship. Growth isn't linear. Sometimes the path dips, and there's other times where, we're just climbing. You got to let go of that perfection. So here's what I've learned as a husband and a father. Letting go of those expectations of constant happiness is quite liberating, right? It lowers the pressure on the relationship, gets that off of your shoulders. When I stop chasing perfection and start embracing the full experience, the highs, the mehs, the lows, I become a better partner. I'm more present. I'm less reactive, better responsive, and more compassionate. If you find yourself frustrated by the recurring ups and downs, I'm going to ask you to give the rule of thirds a try. Map your emotions over the week. Notice the pattern. When the tough moments come, remember, it doesn't mean that you or your relationship is failing. It's because you're human. Think about that for a moment, and extend that to your spouse as well. So as I wrap up, I want to leave you with this. Marriage, like life, is a journey. And instead of expecting every single day to feel perfect, trust the process. The rule of thirds isn't a cure-all. It's a compass. It keeps you going when the days are hard and reminds you to savor the ones that are absolutely amazing. So that's going to be it for the King's Corner. Think about the rule of thirds, and I appreciate you going with me on this solo ride. And stay compassionate, real, accountable, zealous, and yielding, and you'll always be married into crazy. Until the next time, be blessed.
Thank you for listening to the Married into Crazy podcast with Snooks and Lovey. Please like, subscribe to, and review the show wherever you access it, and tell a friend about us. Visit marriedintocrazy.com and see how Snooks and Lovey can bless your marriage directly.